challenges, because I believe that to every endeavor there are challenges thereof, and how are these being addressed by the government, by the unions, and together how do we find a solution for different Ugandans. Then we will also have a look at the role of trade unions and government. So this is a loaded conversation that you should be a part of, because I believe that many of the questions that you may have will be answered within this conversation. And Mr. Apollo has already joined us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Welcome back from Easter.
Thank you.
Okay, so together let's delve into our conversation, and I will start with you, Mr. Apollo. First of all, help us understand why it is important for stakeholders. But before even getting to that, could you please help us understand, first of all, the origin of the annual National Labour Convention and Expo?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning, viewers. My name is Onzoma Apollo, Assistant Commissioner Industrial Relations from Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. This annual Labour Convention which we are talking about, it is actually one of the key events which we are holding to mark the International Labour Day. For those who are not aware, sometime in the 19th century, the workers in the United States went into a kind of strike because of living conditions of work. And during that process, very many workers lost their lives, and many of them died. And from that time, the day when they did the movement became known as the May Day, which eventually became known as the Workers' Day. And since then, 1st May of every year is commemorated as International Labour Day for Uganda, but also it is a worldwide event. And as we commemorate this day, we have very many events which we hold a week before the D-Day. And this period, a week before the Labour Day, is called the Labour Week. And during this week, we do a lot of activities. We do a lot of sensitization activities. And then one of the key events which we are undertaking this day is the Annual Labour Convention, which we are holding from tomorrow to Thursday this week. And one of the things, the reason why we are holding this convention is to share best practices with the stakeholders in the world of work, to do a lot of awareness, to bring in innovations which are good for us to work in a productive manner and ensure that the workers' rights are protected. And so it is really a long week activity, but the convention is actually one of the major events of the Labour Week, where we hope to inform the public. We are looking at government, social partners, which include employers and workers' organizations. We are also looking at the overall population, policymakers, because Labour Day is celebrated for us to recognize the contributions of workers in the development of the nation. So that's in a brief what I can say about the annual Labour, the convention.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Apollo, for that. Now, let's get into the thick of our conversation. Why is it important for stakeholders to comply with employment law?
Yeah, employment laws. First of all, we are part of an international body, that is the International Labour Organization. where the body which develops a lot of standards to guide employment, relationships in employment. And two, in this country, you know that we have the national law, that is the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, which provides for Parliament to enact laws to guide how work is supposed to be provided and the issues of safety. So compliance is really a matter of, these laws come, one, to ensure that the workers work under a safe and healthy environment. They are protected. This is to ensure that there is production and productivity in the workplace. And when there is production and when workers are productive, then you ultimately expect that the services, any investment where there is a productive workforce definitely realizes a lot of services for which they have been established, or realizes a very good products, quality products. And then also there is a dignity in work, and of course harmony. Because when there is compliance, then the working environment is smooth, there is harmonious relations, and then the ultimate aim, the ultimate realization is in terms of the services and the productivity of the workers. So that's why compliance in itself is not a matter of forcing people, that it is not like a really kind of a harsh condition, but these conditions, if a worker works under a safe and healthy environment, you don't lose lives due to injuries, workers don't lose morale, they don't lose focus, and then the employer realizes a lot of a very cool and harmonious environment where the services can be delivered more effectively.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Now, let's look at some of the existing laws, legal and policy framework that we have, the government of Uganda has put in place to protect workers' rights. And what are some of the ongoing reforms to close the existing legal gaps?
Yeah, we have key core labor laws which have been enacted by Parliament to ensure a smooth and a productive environment for work. One of the key, of course, the national law, the Constitution, has a lot of provisions related to compliance, especially issues of work, requirements to work under safe and healthy environment, and then also participation in trade union activities, and also leadership places related to unionization. Then we have Employment Act. That is actually the principal law which guides employment relations in this country. This law provides for terms and conditions. It outlines the rights of workers in the employment relationships, and it is the key to guide the contract of employment in the country. We also have occupational safety and health, which provides for how safety and health in the workplace should be provided for, should be regulated, the systems and structures which are in place to ensure that there is limited injury, there is limited exposure to hazards for workers. And then also there is the Workers' Compensation Act, which provides for compensation for workers who get injured in the course of employment, what the workers should do, what the employers to do to report any accidents which arise in the course of employment, and how those can be managed. And then we also have the Labor Disputes and Arbitration Act, which provides for procedures for settling disputes which arise in the workplace court. You are well aware that we have a labor court, which is the industrial court, which handles disputes related to labor matters in this country. We also have National Social Security Fund. Of course, this fund establishes the National Social Security Fund, and it requires every employer and workers to make contributions for the livelihoods of the workers as a measure for retirement. And then most of these laws are undergoing reforms, like the Employment Act has been amended. Parliament passed it early this year, including the Occupational Safety and Health Act. Waiting for the President to assent to these two laws. We also are reviewing the regulations, the employment regulations, the employment of children regulations. You know that employment of children is illegal under the law, and therefore we also have regulations which guide how this can be managed. We are also developing employment prosecution regulations. These regulations are coming to help us regulate on matters of non-compliance, where there are cases of non-response to important requirements of the law. The regulations will help us to do prosecution of the offenders. So those are some of the key reforms which we're undertaking. The NSSF Act was reviewed already, and it has introduced also new requirements for voluntary contributions, which actually has expanded the contributions to even people in the informal sector to contribute for their own future. So those are some of the reforms.
All right. If you're just joining the conversation, we are looking at the 3rd Annual National Labour Convention and Expo 2025. And its theme is strengthening compliance to employment law. Why is that important? Mr. Onzoma has taken us through that. But if you're just catching the conversation, we are streaming live on YouTube. So later on, you should feel free to go back and watch the conversation from where it started. Now, I am speaking to Mr. Apollo Onzoma, who is the Assistant Commissioner, Industrial Relations at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. But also I am speaking to Honorable Dr. Sam Lyomochi, who is the Secretary General, Central Organization of Trade Unions, also known as COF2. Now, coming to you, Honorable Sam, do I have to say all the titles?
No, I think just call me Sam.
Okay, yes. Honorable Sam, what is, let's look at workers' unions and their role. What would you say is the role of workers' unions in strengthening compliance with labor laws in Uganda, and what key challenges do they face in executing this mandate?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, labor unions are important for workers because they are the legitimate organizations that are provided for by the law and also the international standards to defend the interests of workers.
Yes.
So they are part of the tripartite. That means that we have the government, we have the employers, and the workers organized under their unions, with the federations at the top. The role of the unions are to support workers, be productive, and to make sure that their interests are met and realized at the workplace. We do a lot of things, for instance, in terms of representation of workers, legal representation, and the advice, trying to give the workers guidance where there are violations, where there are areas where they need to be supported in terms of representation. The workers' unions do that, or labor unions. That the technical term is labor unions, though we always call it workers' unions, but they are called labor unions. And then we also do monitoring of what is taking place at the labor, the workplace, in terms of the standards working conditions, so monitoring and reporting where there are violations. You can be able to report to authorities, working with the Ministry of Labour and other authorities to make sure that the workers' interests are, and then also the standards are realized. And also, the labour unions also have a very important aspect of collective bargaining, engaging in collective bargaining, trying to negotiate for workers' terms and conditions, salaries on an annual basis, make sure that they work with the employers in a harmonious way to establish the standards, the rates of compensation when it comes to salary, in terms of make sure that the workers have their leave, like maternal leave and all these, sick leave and all the aspects of employment, and then also we also participate in national social dialogue platforms and also bodies to represent the workers, like for instance Parliament, places like Industrial Court. Mr. Ozoma has talked about the Industrial Court. The workers are represented there to make sure that through the labour unions, to make sure that the justice is established. On top of that, we also do education. In terms of the whole spectrum of the education, trying to, from sensitization also to education, in terms of teaching workers the various aspects, how to be productive, how to defend their interests, how to safeguard all the aspects to be productive as a person at the workplace, so that you can be able to contribute effectively to the mandate for which you are as a worker. And then we also do other aspects like counseling workers, not only legal but also in terms of trying to make sure that workers are guided in terms of their welfare and other aspects. So the labour union is actually the authentic or legitimate representatives or advocates of workers at the workplace. So that as workers work, they have their own institution that it relates with the authorities, the employer, government and others to make sure that they can be able to work effectively. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, so what would you say are some of the innovative strategies that unions are adopting to overcome these obstacles and promote decent work in both formal and informal sectors?
Yes, as we work, of course, there are challenges, there are a lot of other dynamics that always workers have to face. And labour unions are always making sure that they stand in that gap to bring workers to speed in terms of how they can be able to work effectively, fulfill the mandate of working, but at the same time having their welfare safeguarded. Now, some of the innovative things that we have done as labour unions, one is to make sure that workers, as much as possible, understand that they are labour unions or entities that represent them. So we have tried to do sensitization. We have tried to using all the platforms, digital platforms, to make sure that we reach the workers in various ways, to make sure that unions are visible, to make sure that their mandate is recognized. You know, we have also the challenge in our country where sometimes labor is not recognized, people are paid low salaries, and some of the rights are not recognized. So we have also tried to make sure that we work with the employers to understand that it is good to have a productive workforce, that actually labor rights are not really against the employers. They are development, they even assist productivity.
I think so that's important.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, too. Because initially, at one time, the employers were as if unions or workers are antagonistic.
Yes. I
mean, maybe if we have unions or workers and I recognize their interests, pay them salaries, maybe I will have my profitability will go down. But we have tried to demonstrate, and where unions are, there is a clear case to show that where the employers are working effectively with the unions and the members and the workers, there is the productivity, there is the motivation, and competitiveness increases in those entities, and then they can be able to even have their productivity and even profitability being higher than where there are no unions. And then the other innovative methods have also been to establish structures and platforms where we can be able to do our mandate very well. For instance, we have established what are called the Legal Aid for Workers program. This is a program which proactively works with workers to give them free legal services. I mean, for instance, with at the national level, and also have sort of networks on the grassroots clinics, legal clinics, so workers are able to be able to call in, they are able to come and visit, to conduct these sort of entities and networks, and then we can be able to represent them. For instance, there are some workplaces where the employers might not be sort of enforcing the labor law. Like, for instance, the law requires that the employer must have an employment contract. You must have an employment letter. You must have all these other things. Now, sometimes some of the employers don't give workers the employment letters, and there are also even specific deadlines within which, if a worker is working, within a certain period of time, she must have received the employment letter and all that, and appointments. So what we do, we visit those workplaces, also encourage the workers that they can also even call us without even trying to declare their names. And then we go to those workplaces and we encourage the employer to be able to comply with the law, because if the employer does not comply with the law, then the law will also come in to enforce this, and sometimes it's unfair. I mean, the employer can end up with sanctions and other things, including payments, sort of fines, including imprisonments and all that. So we avoid that by being proactive, engaging with employers and alerting them so that they can be able to comply, and then they can be able to bring on board the workers, to organize the workers, have labor unions. We have also come up with several innovations in terms of making our unions and leaders sort of to speed in terms of competence, in terms of skillfulness, on how they do their work, so that their work can be done effectively and competently, professionally, to be able to make the employers and the workers understand why they should join labor unions, to make sure that labor unions are a facilitator, not an inhibitor of development in the workplace, to make sure that employers, the unions and workers are not only minding about their sort of like labor rights and interests, but also about the society. For instance, you have seen in this labor, in this the coming the sort of International Labor Day, we are even linking it to the national development through PDM. So we are also making sure that workers are also part and parcel of the whole development process. The workers' unions, because they cannot be development. There can never be development within labor. Labor is a very, very critical factor in development, not actually a factor, resource, and is the motive force of everything. So we have also tried to make sure that the workers, they stand in the task, even that they be able to stand that duty, to make sure that they, apart from working, and also the unions representing them, to also be part of the society in terms of providing other aspects, health. Sometimes make sure that even like we represent all workers, including health workers. So apart from the health workers, just being there, minding their duty, and being at the facility. Why not come up with innovative, active, where even they go to the society, proactive. Sometimes it's not even provided for in their duties, but we as the labor unions, we guide them that be innovative. If you are a midwife, not only be at the workplace and wait for the mother to come. Work with the LOCs, make sure that you have all the telephone numbers and the contacts of all the women in productive age, find out who are those who are pregnant, different levels, those who are supposed to come. Yes, support them and try to work with the LOCs, not only to wait at the day. And then they tell you the mother has had issues at home. She was supposed to come for maternity. First of all, she has not even visited the 4 times. And you have a health center around, and you have never even known about it. So we spread
the awareness.
Yes, and also even try to go in proactively and even attend LOC meetings and talk to LOCs and guide them to make sure that they can engage with the midwives. I mean, I mean the mothers and all this.
Doctor, how practical is that though? Not just for the midwives, but how practical is it, especially in the times we are in? For instance, look at the cities, look at Kampala City, Mara, Jinja, everyone is for themselves.
Yeah.
So how do we, as workers, how do we ensure that we are interconnected?
Yeah.
I understand the union's bit,
Yes.
but then, for instance, the example you used of a midwife letting the community know that this is what I do.
Yes.
In case you need help, you can come here. But also, we have a society today that is, you get the picture.
Disconnected.
We are disconnected. So how practical is that?
No, it's a matter of trying to make sure that the worker understands that what he or she is involved in is a calling more than a job. That means a calling. If I'm a professional, I must understand that, okay, I am here to be paid and do a job, but my calling is to save lives. So I must be able to innovate. And if I'm a lawyer, I'm supposed to defend even people who are vulnerable. So let me be alert and be able to look out for those areas. If I'm working within the agricultural sector, I must be able to look at, for instance, the issues of farming in the community. So someone should have that whole outlook that I know I'm here, my issues, okay, I'm being paid fine, but it is beyond that. So I must use my competence and to go beyond. I'm part of the society. I should be taken as that. So I'm not only looking at the salaries, because you see, if you look on as the salary, you only look at the employer. But if I'm based in a place, maybe for instance, we are going to have the labor day in Nakapiripiti. I'm in Nakapiripiti, whether I'm a medical doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, I'm someone a technical person in agriculture. I know that if I understand that, okay, I'm here to assist the people who are like me in this in the area where I have competence in terms of skills and all that. Then I start trying to assist them and try to put in addition. I don't need to be paid for that.
Okay.
And that's where the lawyers, I think they call it pro bono, where you go beyond that aspect. So it's just a matter of loving and having passion
for what you do.
For what you are doing, yes. Just like you in the area of communication.
Yes.
If I understand that, okay, I'm here not only working for UBC,
yes,
but I must also look at the society I'm in.
Maybe
where you are living, or maybe where you are working, like here, to guide them on issues of communication.
That's right.
That area, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much,
yes.
Doctor. Yeah. Now, if you're just joining the conversation, we are looking at strengthening compliance to employment law. Now, this is on the pretext of the third annual National Labour Convention and Expo 2025, and this is the theme. Our topic of discussion is also the theme for the convention this year. Now, we have two guests today that we are speaking to regarding this, and one is Honorable Dr. Sam Lyomoki, right next to me. He is the Secretary General, Central Organization of Trade Unions, also known as Free Trade Unions, also known as COFTU. Now, the other gentleman on my extreme left is Apollo Onzoma, who is the Assistant Commissioner, Industrial Relations at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Now, Mr. Apollo, coming back to you, you did explain to us at the beginning of our conversation what the convention stands for, the origin of the convention. But now let's look at the third annual National Labour Convention that is going to take place soon. What does the ministry, what has the ministry planned for this year's convention?
Yeah, thank you very much. This convention, as we said, is a two-day event which will start tomorrow. We have aligned high-level professional speakers who are going to take us through a number of topics for the next 2 days. We are expected to have an official opening by Right Honorable Prime Minister of this country. We also have keynote presentations on labor and employment matters. You all know that the world of work and the future of work is changing considerably, a lot of work since COVID to date. There are a lot of innovations which have come in the world of work. It will be good for you to be with us to follow what are some of the key challenges which are coming in the new developments of how people now work. People now work from home. We have a lot of people who are working online. We have a lot of many other developments in the world of work. And those are some of the key areas which are going to be discussed during these 2 days. We are also going to look at important compliance matters related to occupational safety and health, workers' compensation. There is also a key item on the national social security schemes, especially social security. You are aware social security is an important factor of decent work, which is key for every worker, whether a worker is in the informal or in a formal sector. And those are some of the key topics which are going to be discussed. We have a keynote speakers who are going to take us through compliance to labor laws tomorrow, and we also have another keynote speech on Tuesday, on the second day, that is Thursday, which will be about decent work requirements for socioeconomic transformation of this country. So those are some of the key events. But also for the public to know, we also have an exhibition, the Expo, which will be open to the public. And in the Expo, we have a lot of experts who will be displaying a lot of knowledge-related materials for the public to view. They will be able to discuss and share lessons on best practices to improve on compliance, to ensure a productive workforce and industrial harmony. We have also very many other stakeholders from the civil society, from the banking sector, from the development world, who will be with us during the Expo. So you don't need to miss the Expo, because there is a lot of things which you are going to learn in the next 2 days, which maybe you may have missed over a long period of time. And then on the second day, one important event we have is that's on Thursday. We are expected to sign the workers, government, and the employers, including the International Labour Organization, will be expected to sign a Decent Work Country program, the third Decent Work Country program for this country, which is running from 2025-26 to 2029-30. This is a program which is looking at how issues of employment promotion, workers' rights, decent employment, and then also social protection and collective bargaining and unionization can be addressed within the next 5 years to ensure that the country slowly transforms in matters of decent work in employment promotion, and how to create decent jobs in this country, jobs which are secure, they provide fair income for these people, for the world, and they allow people to enjoy their rights related to collective bargaining and freedom of association. So we expect to launch this, to sign off this agreement, to kick off resource mobilization towards addressing matters of decent work in employment, which program, of course, we are also scheduled to launch during the Labor Day commemoration. So those are some of the key, but most important, we have also live coverage of these events. So the public should also be, if you are unable to come to Mestil, where the venue is for the annual labor convention, but we are anticipating to stream this live in the morning hours, so you should be able to catch key key speakers and key messages, because the world of work is for all of us.
That's right.
If your own relative has issues related to employment contract, has issues related to workers' injuries in the workplace, or suffers occupational diseases, or is not paid on time, is denied opportunities for maternity leave. So those are factors which not only affect the employee themselves, but it affects the entire family as a system.
True.
So issues of the world of work is not an issue of the employee alone, but we must look at this as an issue which is for national development, an issue which is for family development, and an issue which is for everyone.
Okay.
So we request you to, but the exhibition will be open, of course. For the 2 days, you should be able to walk in and pick a few messages, a lot of information and practices which can help us all improve.
All right, thank you so much. And that is Mr. Apollo Onzoma, who is the Assistant Commissioner, Industry Relations at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Now, the third annual National Labour Convention and Expo 2025 will take place on the 23rd and 24th of April 2025 at Mestil Hotel in Zambia. Now, it is estimated that the convention will reach over 3,000 participants, but only 200 will be attending physically because it is invite-based. Now, the others, like Mr. Onzoma shared with us, can join through different media channels, and also they can stream the event online. And it's important that we all have an understanding of employment law, because at the end of the day, you and I, we have some places that where we work, but even those that are self-employed or are running businesses, if you have employees under your belt, then you also need to understand employment law so that you're not caught unawares in case of a lawsuit by one of your employees. So Mr. Dr. Lyomoki, let's look at the labor unions. What does a platform like the annual National Labour Convention and Expo 2025 mean to workers?
Yeah, thank you very much. It is a very, very powerful platform because we are bringing together the very important actors in the labor space,
Yes.
in the employment space, coming together to have a discourse. And that's why we think by the end of the day, this is going to strengthen employment governance, because it's going to promote labor law or employment law compliance, and which this is going to unlock savings of work as well as job creation and foster inclusive economic growth in Uganda. Now, for us as labor unions and workers, it is very critical and important because it's a space that brings visibility and recognition, because you know you're having workers' issues being highlighted, you're having discourse, people contributions, the workers' aspirations, and this is a space that brings visibility to the national agenda, because you see when you have this type of space and everyone is participating, key people are participating, then you have that sort of opportunity to bring the workers' issues to visibility, but also is a learning and the networking platform, because as you have said and as Mr. Onzoma has explained, you are going to have experts,
Yes.
both in giving the sort of like lectures, trying to give presentations, clarifications, and also going to be a debate. So this also gives learning not only to the leaders, but also to the general workforce and also the employers and everyone really, government and all that official, and everyone really to understand certain things so that we can come to a consensus in terms of knowledge and then the what we need in terms of trying to have a better employment space in this country. It's also a driver of policy influence, because at the end of the day, we are going to come up with some recommendations certain things. I know there are certain laws or proposals that might be at the level of Parliament, others at the level of the President waiting for signing, others at the level of the Ministry. But usually when you have this engagement, there is also influence, because certain critical things come out, and then it becomes clear that there's something that must be maybe expedited, something that have delayed, something that must maybe improved upon, and all that. So it is a very important platform for that. It also brings a opportunity for dialogue and collective bargaining, because when you are having that engagement and you're having the employers there, having workers, leaders, and the government, sometimes you are engaging and trying to do even collective bargaining, because there are some conclusions through that discourse that you can end up coming up and say, I think we must do this and this. And there is also solidarity and mobilization, because the mere fact that you are working together, you have brought a platform that is connecting everyone. I mean, I know that there will be only 200 participants, 200 and maybe 3,000 people watching and participating, but that is solidarity, because most of those are critical actors. There are people who are enforcers, people who are many even leaders on the ground and everywhere. So that is a sort of a platform for mobilization, a platform for solidarity, networking, and working on the leverages for each person to be able to understand his or her core mandate, and where you can be able to have synergies, so that you can be able to work together. So for us as workers, leaders, all of us participating, the key leaders at national level, both at the federations. We have our federation, COFTU, NOTU, National Organization of Trade Unions. We have all workers, the labor union leaders, the top. And also we're going to take advantage to sign that decent work program, which is also going to come up with certain, what do we have in the next 5 years in terms of working with the development partners, working with all other actors, the labor unions, the employers' organizations, the government, the ministry responsible for labor, what type of agenda we're carrying forward in the next 5 years. So this is an additional something that we have put to highlight, to have that signing sort of like opportunity or space for this. So for us, we know we are going to learn, we are going to engage, and we're also going to have some actions which are going to be implemented during that expo. So that convention and expo. So as workers, it's a very value add. It has value add in terms of our performance as leaders, in terms of governance, but also it is a value add in terms of the productivity of the workers, to know what are the critical areas that we can be able to work together in consensus to make sure that our labor force is more productive and useful in terms of development.
Okay, thank you. Now, 1st May, which will be Thursday, 1st May 2025, will be the International Labor Day. Now, Labor Day in some countries is referred to as May Day, but it is a celebration of laborers and the working classes of different countries. And in Uganda, we also join the rest of the world to celebrate and commemorate this day, which brings me back to you, Mr. Onzoma. What has the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development prepared and planned for this year's International Labor Day 2025 commemoration? Yeah,
this year's Labor Day celebrations, as I had indicated before, the Labor Week actually we are almost in the Labor Week, which is the week before the 1st of May. And the key events for commemoration actually begin this week, which is marked by the Annual Labor Convention. But also, before I even go in to the details, it's important for the public to know that the national celebrations will be held in Nakapriprit district in the ground called Nakale. That is on 1st. This year we are looking at consolidating on the gains of Paris Development Model for increased productivity and inclusive job creation. you know, government efforts on the Paris development model are also efforts which are addressing matters of production and productivity in the communities. And there is a lot of matters related to increasing productivity and also job creation. There is a lot of job creation which has resulted due to Paris development model. So as one of the events in the district where we are going to host, which is going to host the Labor Day, we are going to do tree planting activities. That is next week. We are going to also do a lot of field visits, inspection visits to some of the PDM, successful PDM investments in the region. We shall also have awareness creation to the public, both here in the center, but also at the region on the matters of labor and employment in general. And then on the D-Day, we shall have, of course, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, is going to be our chief guest on the D-Day. And during the celebrations, we have a number of things to be launched by the President, key among which includes the labor market information system, which, as you may wish to know, is an important system which will help us to collect, manage, and share information related to labor market. We are also launching the job matching platform, which is a platform which will match employers and employees for purposes of promoting job creation. We are also launching the Decent Work Country program on that day. That is on Thursday, 1st May. And then also we are launching some awards under the GROW project for some of the beneficiaries to improve value addition, especially women entrepreneurs. Then there is also going to be a lot of exhibition. The national event will be live broadcast, and therefore we urge the public to follow. During this week, there are going to be a lot of radio programs, sensitization messages coming out to the public as part of commemoration of the event. Mm-hmm. So that's what how I can summarize what we have planned to do during this period.
Okay. Now, Dr. Lyomoki, I have some views coming through, and the first one is a question from Hussein bin Abubakari, who says, how can I be helped because this company forced me to pay for some loss, then terminated me?
Yeah, thank you very much. As I said, we have the legal aid for workers program, which is a legal aid, free legal aid for workers. So you should be able to come to the headquarters of COFTU at Ntinda, but also I can also give him the telephone of the network and also the directors there who could be able to assist him. And I think they can be able to handle his case very well without any problem. Yeah, so he just needs to be able to come
to your offices.
My office, yeah. So you can also just even call my telephone. I can be able to guide him. And my telephone is 0772 49 6781. 0772 49 6781, and then we shall also be able to, I'll give him the other telephone for the legal aid.
Okay.
Yeah, but the legal aid is based in Ntinda, legal aid for workers, free legal aid for workers, the Lovis apartment, on A3. That's that flat that has the Bank of Africa. That's where COF2 is the legal aid for workers, and it's free program, and it's for all the workers. We have lawyers there, so they will be able to engage with him, find out the prima facie whether they made to the case, and then they will be able to engage with the employer, have engagement meetings with the employer, and then they can be able to enforce it. And if the employer doesn't comply, then they can be able to take the employer to the industrial court. So the process is very clear and self-propagating.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. And still with you, please share your parting remarks to Ugandans, especially in light of the annual National Labour Convention that is going to take place.
Yeah, thank you very much for hosting us here. I just want to thank the government and the other stakeholders for organizing this convention. And I invite the workers, the leaders who have already been invited to participate, and all others to also use the platform to follow, but also to be able to join the labor unions, be able to work with we have several unions, over 40 in the various sectors, and we have competent leaders. They should be able to work with us to make sure that we do our mandate of promoting and defending the social interest, economic interest of workers. I also want to, of course, thank the government, thank the president specifically, because this government in 1968, the government then had made it illegal for certain sections of workers to be unionized. So it is this government that came in 1993, opened up and removed all the encumbrances. So I've been able to have the labor unions even expand, apart from the only, as even Mr. explained, we have the unions for even informal economy workers, drivers, border cycle, market vendors, all these. So we have labor unions. So we have the law has been, of course, changed, improved on, and then the workers are able to organize themselves. So what only fails if you don't join, but you are able to join the labor movement, and there's someone to defend you. Okay. And we have representation in parliament as workers, we have representation in the boards like National Social Fund and others. So what we have to thank government, and also to thank the leaders, because we have worked as leaders in this country, labor union leaders who have stood in the gap to defend the workers. So we encourage you, fellow ministers, in that space to continue standing in, but also knowing we're just coming out of this election period. Know that as you do that work is a calling, so know that God also will reward you for defending the vulnerable, the people in the world of work. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you so much. That is Honorable Dr. Sam Lyomochi, who is the Secretary General, Central Organization of Free Trade Unions, COF2, and he did share with us his number in the event that you want to get in touch with him. If you have any questions that I wasn't able to share with him to answer on air, you can call 772-4967-81, again 772-4967-81 for any assistance that you might need to be rendered to you. Now, Mr. Onzoma, please give us your parting remarks.
Yeah, first to thank you for hosting us, and also to thank the audience for listening to us. My parting shot is that, one, the issues of compliance to labor laws is the issue for all of us. We need a world of work which is enjoying the rights and remaining productive. We need also the public to be aware that the government has provided structures in the whole country. At the ministry headquarters, we have labor offices in every city, every municipality, and every district. So you should not be quiet about any matters which have affected you in the world of work. You just report to the nearest labor office. You can get advice, they can give you awareness, you can also get redress, and your grievances can be handled at any labor office. We also have, just like Honorable Yomoki has said, trade unions in the country who also support matters related to disputes, but
Yes.
also related to welfare. So feel free to, don't struggle with your issues, feel free to report, you will always be helped.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I want to thank all of you, and we invite you to participate in the forthcoming annual labor convention.
Thank you so
very
much. Thank you so much, Mr. Apollo Onzoma, who is the Assistant Commissioner, Industrial Relations at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Now, we've been looking at the 3rd Annual National Labour Convention and Expo 2025, and it will be taking place from the 23rd and the 24th of April 2025. They are mainly focusing on strengthening compliance to employment law, something that touches pretty much all of us, whether employer or employee. Well, my name is Olive Monica Najama. I'll be saying goodbye right now. Let's meet again tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning. For now, I'll be handing you over to Good Morning Uganda Extra with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintona. Stick around.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo,
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
The government's mandate is to maintain law and order, safeguard citizens' rights, and provide essential public services.
Remember, one of the pillars of a roadmap is innovation and entrepreneurship.
There has been this question of how are you protecting our indigenous seed?
It's going to be a tall project. That answers somebody's question.
For the past 20 weeks, the front bench has brought you insightful discussions on governance, security, healthcare, justice, and commerce.
Why do you go through this complicated procedure, involve the lawyers? You bring the case against him, the judge will hear you out and pass judgment, and you're out of court in record time.
We remain committed to keeping you informed and engaged on key national matters.
So these are huge, these are powerful organizations which now Uganda chairs. Why don't you come together?
If we haven't migrated to the e-card because of various reasons, including that not all the people of Uganda have smartphones.
You can sit in your house, apply for a passport. If you have a Ugandan who has a successful logistics firm in the US, it means he can come to Uganda and do a lot more.
Now airing every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with me, Jethro Kasaiji, your interface with the government only on your public broadcaster, UBC, Inspiring Uganda.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Form Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices.